Hey everyone, the next time you glance at your reflection in the mirror, I want you to look really closely at your eyes. We almost always think of our eye color as just a cosmetic trait, a totally random aesthetic feature we happen to inherit from our parents. But the truth is actually so much more fascinating than that. Your eye color is literally an ancient survival tool, a biological marvel your ancestors utilized to conquer this planet. What you see staring back at you is the result of an incredible genetic lottery.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute breathtaking story of human migration, environmental adaptation, and evolution hidden right there in your iris. We're going to look way past the surface to understand how the intense environments of the deep past shaped the exact way we see the world today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our map for today. We're hitting the biological shield, the Great Blue Mutation, rare green cocktails, the color-shifting chameleons, and finally, breaking genetic symmetry. To set the stage here, just think about this. Over 70% of the entire global human population possesses brown eyes. That means if you're sitting there with blue, green, hazel, amber, or gray eyes, you fall into that 30% slice of the pie. You are literally carrying specific genetic mutations that diverged from our original human biological blueprint. So where did it all begin? Chapter 1. The biological shield, the original eye color of humanity. All right, to really get this, we've got to travel all the way back to the ancient African savanna. Picture it, a blazing sun and brutal UV radiation. Early humans needed some serious protection just to survive out there. And the secret weapon of the brown eye evolved, melanin. Now, melanin isn't just about looking a certain way. It is a remarkably powerful pigment that functions like a built-in, natural sunscreen right inside your iris. Research from the University of Copenhagen shows this incredibly dense pigment absorbs up to 90% of the light entering your eye. It actively stops harmful ultraviolet radiation before it has the chance to damage the DNA in your eye cells. For our ancestors, this wasn't about aesthetics. It was a crucial evolutionary defense mechanism. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why brown eyes perform so incredibly well. See, because melanin absorbs light instead of scattering it around inside the eye, if you've got brown eyes, you actually experience less glare sensitivity and maintain much clearer vision in super intense daylight. This immense efficiency is exactly why brown eyes still dominate populations located closer to the equator today. Oh, and get this. At maximum saturation, this dark brown melanin gets so incredibly dense that the eyes can actually look completely black. Now, biologically speaking, true black eyes don't exist, but this extreme saturated dark brown offers the absolute maximum protection you can get from UV radiation and harsh equatorial glare. Chapter 2. The Great Blue Mutation. Tracing a single ancestral spark. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the sheer physics of it all. We're shifting from the sun-drenched savannas to a massive genetic mystery. If you have blue eyes or know someone who does, prepare yourself, because every single blue-eyed person on Earth traces their lineage back to one incredible origin. Crazy, right? And you probably think blue eyes are blue because they actually have blue pigment in them. Wrong. There is absolutely no blue pigment in the human iris. Instead, blue eyes contain almost zero melanin. So when light enters the eye, shorter blue wavelengths scatter back out, while the longer wavelengths simply pass right through. It's the exact same structural scattering effect that makes the sky appear blue on a clear day. Basically, your eyes aren't blue, they're just playing a trick with the light. Let's map out how fast this happened chronologically. Somewhere between 6 to 10,000 years ago, a mutation popped up in the HERK2 gene of a single common ancestor. It literally acted like a switch, just turning off the production of brown melanin in the iris. Before that moment, every human alive had brown eyes. Fast forward a bit, and we actually have this stunning DNA analysis from ancient remains proving that early Europeans had blue eyes while they still had dark, African-like skin. This completely demolished the old scientific assumption that blue eyes were just some accidental byproduct of humans evolving pale skin. Actually, light eyes evolved first. And by about 6,000 years ago, during the Neolithic expansion, this trait just exploded across Northern Europe.
So, what does this all mean? Well, it brings us to a massive scientific puzzle. How in the world did blue eyes go from absolute zero to dominating 70 to 95% of Northern Europe in just a few millennia? Why did this specific mutation spread like wildfire?
Researchers are actually totally torn between two leading theories here. The first one is highly functional, a low light advantage. Because there is minimal melanin blocking light from entering a blue eye, more photons can reach the retina, which could significantly enhance vision during those long, dim, dark winters in northern Europe. The second theory? Sexual selection. Blue eyes were a brand new, strikingly unusual mutation. They were so captivating that they likely became highly attractive, rapidly accelerating their spread simply through human mate preference. Chapter 3: Rare Green Cocktails. The delicate balance of rare eye colors. Okay, moving beyond the binary of brown and blue, we are entering the territory of extreme rarity. So the crucial point here is the number 16. For the longest time, we thought eye color was dictated by just one or two genes. But to produce a pair of green eyes, which is the rarest common eye color on Earth, found in only 2% of the global population, it requires a wildly precise genetic cocktail involving at least 16 different genes working in perfect, delicate balance. So here is the biological recipe for green eyes. Step 1. You need moderate melanin levels. Too much and they become brown. Too little and they go blue. Step 2. You add a dash of a super rare yellow pigment called lipochrome. Step 3. The result is a green hue that is actually chemically unstable. Because it's so sensitive to environmental light, green eyes can appear mossy in shadows or golden green in bright sunlight. This dynamic, almost shifting quality is exactly why medieval cultures frequently associated green eyes with folklore, witchcraft, and the supernatural.
And while we're speaking of rare extremes, we definitely have to mention gray eyes. They belong to less than 3% of humanity. Gray eyes actually have even less melanin than blue eyes. They scatter light across multiple wavelengths, not just blue, which gives them this striking steel-like appearance. Functionally, researchers view them as an extreme low-light adaptation for constantly overcast northern skies. Culturally, they're often seen as emotionally neutral or hard to read, maintaining a cool, enigmatic detachment. But the severe trade-off? High UV vulnerability. If you have gray eyes, sun protection is absolutely vital. Let's move to Chapter 4 to see how this builds. The chameleons, shifting colors and stable golds.
We are now entering the realm of the highly versatile hazel and the fiercely stable amber. People constantly confuse these two, but they are incredibly distinct. Let's break it down. Hazel eyes? Those are the true chameleons. They have intermediate melanin and trace amounts of that yellow lipochrome. Because of this unique mix, they physically react to lighting, literally shifting from green to golden to brown. It's a massive evolutionary advantage of versatility for mixed environments. On the other hand, amber eyes have very little melanin, but extraordinarily high levels of lipochrome. The result is a solid, stable, glowing, golden or copper hue that absolutely does not change with the lighting.
What's truly fascinating about the amber eye, which is found in less than 5% of people, is its wild connection to the animal kingdom. This exact same stable golden coloration is incredibly common in predatory animals like wolves, eagles, and owls. Because of this, scientists actually theorize that in humans, amber eyes might have evolved less for functional light adaptation and more as a powerful visual social signal. Subconsciously, we associate this golden stare with commanding confidence and intense alertness. Chapter 5: Breaking Symmetry, when the genetic script is disrupted.
For our final stop today, we pivot to what happens when the standard rules of biology are entirely thrown out the window. Affecting less than 1% of the global population, we find the rarest phenomenon of all. Heterochromia. This is the condition of having two entirely differently colored eyes, or stark color variations inside a single iris. It basically happens when melanin simply fails to distribute evenly across both eyes during early development. Whether it's caused by minor genetic mutations or mosaicism, it totally shatters the visual symmetry we subconsciously expect to see in another human being. And because it is so visually striking, ancient cultures around the world frequently viewed heterochromia as a powerful sign of duality, mystical connection, or even divine favor. Which brings us completely full circle. Every single time you look in the mirror, you are looking at a living, breathing record of your ancestors' journey. Your face is a biological artifact, from the melanin-rich biological shields that conquered the sun-drenched savannas, to the incredibly rapid spread of the Blue Eye Mutation in Ice Age Europe, to the highly sensitive chemical cocktails of green and hazel. Your eye color is a direct, living reflection of human evolution.
You aren't just seeing a color. You are seeing the actual environments your ancestors survived, the genetic lottery that played out over millennia, and the breathtaking adaptations that made you exactly who you are today. So, I'll leave you with this. What thousands of years of survival and adaptation are reflected in your eyes? Go find a mirror, take a close look, and